Your weight does not define your worth. The way you look does not define your worth. The way someone treats you does not define your worth. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are new here, you are welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in once again and just for following me on this journey. I appreciate you guys so much. So from the title of today's video, you would have seen that today's video is a little bit of sis talk. Yes, we're going to have some sis talk today. And I know that there are a few guys who do follow me on this channel, who are subscribed to this channel. So my usual videos will carry on and you'll be able to relate to that a bit more. But this is time for the sisters. This is time for us as females. Things that are relatable to us as females. So ladies, this is a new segment on my channel, which will be specific to things that we can relate to more, you know? So ladies, welcome to our first sis talk. Oh my gosh, ladies, I'm so excited. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm so excited because one thing about me is that I love to encourage other women. I love to, just inspire other women in whatever way I can do. So when this kind of inspo came, I was just like, this is so me. So there will be a number of videos where I'll just be sharing a few things that I've learned as a female, some things that are specific to us. And just sharing some of my experiences and how I've kind of learned and grown from certain situations in order to hopefully encourage and inspire you on your journey as well. So if you haven't already, make sure you get comfortable. Get yourself your tea, get yourself your coffee, get yourself your water, whatever it is that you like to drink, and let's have this conversation. Sis has some tea today with her, so we're going to drink our tea, guys. We're going to drink our tea. So I think a good place to start today is to just kind of give you guys a little bit of a background and idea of where the inspo for this video came from. So this kind of like came from a situation that I came across last year summer. So summer 2020, I was just going on my usual, daily walk in the summer. And as we do, I was minding my business and just keeping it moving. And I kind of just walked past this male and female. I don't know if they were a couple, but this young male and female. So I noticed them and then kept it moving, kept on minding my business. So literally 5 seconds after walking past them, I then heard the guy then shout out to the female, "Walk away then, you hoe." Ladies, I literally stopped walking. I'm not even lying to you guys. As I was walking, I stopped walking and I turned around because although it wasn't me that the guy said it to, I genuinely felt like, if you can say that to another sister of mine, like I just felt like I needed to address it. Now something inside of me just said, Maria, keep it moving and mind your business. So that's what I did, guys. I kept it moving. I just kept on minding my business. But as I was walking, like there were so many thoughts that were coming into my mind that, like how dare he? Like I literally started questioning that. Does she know her worth? And then I even started to ask myself, like, Maria, do you know your worth? Because it's very easy for us to see that situation and be like, she doesn't know her worth, clearly. Because when I did turn around, she actually stopped. And I think for a few seconds, she was contemplating whether she should go back to him or she should walk away. But sometimes it's literally little things, that kind of show to us that we do not know our worth. Now, it might not be as explicit as that, as somebody literally disrespecting you outrightly. But for me personally, when I look back now, I'm just kind of like, Maria, there were times where you clearly did not know your worth. And sometimes, like, honestly, we're in a place, we're in a space where we genuinely think that we know our worth, but it's not until our eyes are kind of like opened to the reality and the truth that if you knew your worth, you would not allow certain things to take place. You would not allow yourself to be taken advantage of in certain ways. Now, I think when it comes to our self-love journey, our self-worth journey, it's very important for us to take that personal responsibility of our actions, So that is kind of what this conversation is about. To kind of just speak about the ways that maybe we can identify, what is it that is not allowing me to know my worth? And maybe perhaps you're even putting your worth in certain things. And then when those things go, you then start questioning whether you have worth. So growing up with a Nigerian background, or even just in the world, like period. We grow up and we kind of start to feel like our worth is in the things that we have. So we kind of believe that our worth is in our possessions, the things that we do. So maybe you think that, okay, your worth is in the amount of money you have, or the car that you drive, or maybe the titles that you hold. But then when those titles go, when those things go, what then? What does that mean? Does it mean that your worth now goes away with those things? And for me personally, as a Christian woman, I've had to learn and go on that journey of realizing that, do you know what? My worth is in Christ. My worth is not in all of those things. So even if anything changes temporarily, my worth doesn't just go away. My worth doesn't just fly away because there has been change in certain areas of my life. So that's something that I've had to realize, and it's something that maybe you need to also realize, that what am I putting my worth in? Because as a single woman, I feel like it's so unfair for me to perhaps like go into a relationship or go into a marriage and then now be putting that pressure on my husband, or putting that pressure on in that relationship to be like, my worth has to be in that guy. I genuinely feel like it's our responsibility in order for us to know our worth. Now, that doesn't mean that people around us can't help us, but that personal responsibility, guys, honestly, sisters, I genuinely feel like it's for us to realize that. And it's actually possible to know your worth. So I think that is very important for us ladies to, even if you feel like, oh, there's not really that many people around me that know their worth, then be that person that brings forth that change. Because I feel like us knowing our worth is like giving another sister that kind of assurance that, do you know what, you can also know your worth. And not even just the other sister that is beside you, even your future daughter. Even think about your future daughter, about her knowing and understanding her worth. Because from what we know, the best way to show something is by example. So us knowing our worth is even us saying to our daughter that, listen, it's okay for you to know your worth and not to just take nonsense, not to just take rubbish, or to allow yourself to just be treated anyhow. Now, we have to address the fact that, listen, as much as you may know your worth, there are certain people that will just not know your worth, or they will just not care about the worth that you have. But somebody else's inability to see your worth does not change the worth that you have. Okay? We need to remind ourselves of that, because sometimes we feel like because of the way that certain people treat us that we maybe do not have worth. Now, I was watching a film the other day, and honestly, I've watched this film like 5 times or 6 times, but this time when I watched it, it just spoke to me very differently. And it was the film Why Did I Get Married? If you haven't watched it, great movie, check it out. But I was literally watching this movie, and for those that have watched it, there's this woman named Sheila and her husband Mike, and Sheila clearly does not know her worth. And obviously part of this was the fact that the guy was treating her so bad. The guy was literally just disrespecting her, even to the point where they were going on a marriage retreat to work on their marriage, and my guy was with another woman who was her friend, who they were sleeping together, all of that stuff, like, but she didn't know her worth. And it was just so sad to see. And a lot of things happened, but even when she now got into another situation, she took that same brokenness into that place. She took that same ideology and mindset into that place. And even the guy was just kind of like, no, like, your weight does not define your worth. The way you look does not define your worth. The way someone treats you does not define your worth. And it really spoke to me. It's so important for us to take that time to allow ourselves to go through the healing process, you know, because a lot of the time, the reason why we don't know our worth, it might be because of a situation that you've been in before, a situation that you've dealt with before. So maybe you've had a negative situation where someone hasn't treated you right, someone has treated you wrong, so you now think that you are not worth anything. And then you want to take that into the next situation, or you want to take that into the other things in your life. No, like, we cannot be doing that. So I think that's like definitely one important aspect of it, the importance of healing, so that we can obviously now have, you know, that healthy situation. But then that obviously just brings up the important question of who and what are you surrounded by? Because, for example, going back to the example of Sheila from the movie, Sheila, obviously her friends did not respect her. Her husband did not respect her. Pretty much everything that was around her, the closest people to her, did not respect her. So obviously it's going to be hard for her to see her worth, right? So this is a question that even I started to ask, that, okay, you know, what am I being surrounded by? Like, maybe the people around might not be allowing you to see that worth, or maybe the people around you are the people that are triggering you, thinking that you are not worth anything. And sometimes we need to take that inventory and just realize that, okay, this is a trigger. We need to know who we are and whose we are. So that's one thing that I had to literally like learn on my journey of faith, learn on my journey of life. Because when we don't know who we are and when we don't know whose we are, we kind of have like a flawed view of who we are. We have a flawed view of what we have inside. And just the fact that, listen, when God created humans, yeah, God was like, this is very good. So why would I now go and be like, I'm not very good? Or be like, I'm not worth anything, or I'm not valuable, when the one who created me said that I am? Despite our circumstances, like the one thing that should remain constant is that worth. Because like I said, like obviously now, okay, I know I always talk about the whole fact that we're in a pandemic, but we're in a pandemic. And even in the whole pandemic and stuff, like some people might have lost their job, some people might have lost certain titles, maybe their car, or like they might have lost a lot of things. So then now they're at a point where they're kind of just feeling worthless. But, and I know it's easy to say, but honestly, our worth is not in those things. Like, despite anything that changes in those things that are temporary, our worth remains the same. And we need to realize that. We need to realize that, because then we will start to attach our worth to all of these things. And anytime there's a change, then you're now going through a season of feeling worthless. No. Because imagine, yeah, having all of these titles, having the best car, having your own house, having all of these things, but deep down inside you still feel like you're not worth anything. And then you just obviously start to kind of feel like, okay, I need more. I need more. The more things that I have, then that means I'm going to be worth more. You know, you might feel like, okay, I need 4 degrees. Okay, I need to have 2 cars. Okay, I need to, you know, have like 10 houses. I need to have a business. I need to have this. And you just start accumulating all these different things. And either way, there will still be a void. You will still feel like, okay, I still don't feel like I'm worth enough. I still need to keep kind of going more and more and more and more. So as much as obviously these outside exterior things are so important, I think that when it comes to just being healthy, it's important for us to realize that inner beauty and just having that inner belief that you are worth a lot, that you are worth millions, is so important. And if you didn't know that, I'm here to tell you today, sis, you are worth millions, okay? You are worth a lot, okay? So if we didn't know that, I've had to literally go through that journey myself of even telling myself that, you know? So let's just quickly go into 3 key takeaways for this video, and just, yeah, the things that we can do to kind of cultivate that healthy environment in order for us to constantly walk in knowing our worth. So the number one thing, which I think is very, very important, is having boundaries. There were certain boundaries that obviously now in my life I have in place that I never used to have before. And when I look back, I'm just like, girl, like, how could you have just like allowed that? Like, no. I think boundaries are so, so important. And there's even an amazing book, which I will put the title on the screen, which is about boundaries. And because I love you guys so, so much, I actually have a PDF of that book. So if you do want that book, PDF version, free, whatever, then do let me know and I can send it to you. If you have my number, text me, or if you have me on socials, DM me, and I will send that across to you. So yeah, that's the first important thing that I think that we need to realize, that we need to have boundaries in place. It's not just anything, everything goes. No, you need to have standards, and it's okay to have standards. Like, don't let anyone make you feel like you cannot have standards. The second thing is protecting your mind. Oh my gosh, guys, it's so important for us to protect our mind, because I genuinely feel like that is the area where we start to feel like, am I worth anything? It usually starts from the mind. Most times it's literally like the things that are put in our mind, the things that we allow in, maybe the things that we are watching, the things that we're listening to. So it kind of ties in with boundaries, but just protecting our mind and protecting our heart, literally guarding our heart from the things that we're allowing in. So even sometimes it might be social media, the things that we're looking at, and you're looking at all of these people's lives and you're thinking, oh my gosh, her life is so amazing, her life is so fantastic. But it's like, you don't even know like what she's actually going through behind closed doors. Like, everyone has their own thing. Do you get what I mean? So protecting your mind from certain things is so, so important. And even kind of like going back to the healing point as well, like sometimes when it comes to healing as well, it might even just be healing from foundational things, like things from your childhood, things that you've dealt with. Because when you now get to that point of healing, it's now then a situation of having to now protect and guard your heart and your mind. So protect your mind, ladies. Let us protect our minds and just be wary of what we're allowing into our heart, because that can also affect the way that we see our self-worth. And then the third and the final thing, guys, is affirmations. Ooh, child. Guys, I love the whole, affirmations, affirming ourselves. I think it's important because, like I said before, when it comes to our self-worth, a lot of the time it's the things that are in our mind that are kind of making us feel like we're not worth anything. So we need to speak back to those thoughts and affirm. And I personally, I'm all about biblical affirmations. So at the end of every single Sis Talk, we're going to have a biblical affirmation for our Sis Talk, and yeah, we're going to affirm it together as sisters. So today's affirmation, guys, we actually have two, but today's affirmation is, as you can probably guess, I am wonderfully and fearfully made. And the second one is taken from Proverbs 31, which we know is about the whole virtuous wife, and that is that I am worth far more than rubies. So ladies, if you are at a place where you feel like you do not know your worth and you want to go on that journey of just knowing the truth of your worth, your inner worth, your beauty, then yeah, I hope those tips work, and just keep on affirming, and obviously keep praying as well. Prayer works, and just pray that you will know your worth. So ladies, thank you so much for watching my first Sis Talk. Until the next one, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe. And if you can please put in the comment section the topics that you want us to talk about. And by the grace of God, I will then bring those to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and God bless.